There's been a man visiting me at night.
You should get better locks.
No, like in my dreams.
Oh, dude, that's Freddy fucking Krueger. I've already got a plan for this. So what we're going to do, we're going to drink a shit ton of NyQuil. I'm going to jump into your dreams, and we're going to Dream Warriors his ass.
Weird how many of your plans start like that, but I guess it's leaning in the right direction. I haven't seen a nightmare film in a long time. Does Freddy wear all black and look like he listens to just a shit ton of The Cure while reading poetry?
No, but, you know, evil takes many forms. I've got an idea on how we beat him, though. How do you feel about spandex?
3 hours later.
Okay, here he comes.
Jump him! Give him the chair! I got him on the ropes!
Oh, chair right to the spine.
Let's show him our Super Son super kicks.
Oh, yeah!
You win.
Wait, that's not Freddy Krueger.
Oh, fuck. Oh, no, we did it again.
Is that Morpheus? DC Comics' The Sandman?
Yeah, I think it is.
Did we kill another classic DC character on accident?
Yeah, we're gonna have to erase the board. Back to 0 days since we killed an iconic character.
We were doing so good. Classic Super Sons.
Welcome to GateCrashers, a podcast dedicated to kicking open the door to your next favorite thing. Our mission, our creed, and our code is this: to make all things more approachable and accessible to everyone. We want you to find a universe that you'll fall in love with. I'm Dan. My pronouns are he, him.
I'm Jake, and I also use he, him pronouns.
So I hope everyone is wearing their eyeliner. They've got their Jenko jeans on. They've got their chains, maybe some fishnets. Their hair is, I don't know, slicked back or spiked up or a mohawk. They say heavy mascara, painted black nails, and you just cranking raccoon eyes, and you're just cranking, I don't know, maybe the Smiths or the Cure, because today we're talking about the Sandman.
Wow, this is a
DC's Goth daddy.
Wait, hold on. Are you saying that the Sandman is a male manipulator? Hey, never mind. I've read the book.
yeah, he's a good guy. I think he's a good guy. He's as good as an omnipotent being. I don't know what the hell my voice was trying to do there. Omnipotent being.
Omnipotent, boys.
But yeah, we're gonna talk about the Sandman today. And Jake, I was thinking about this earlier when I was going through and writing some notes. When was the last time you and I both have not read something before we covered it on the show? Like when we first came to it.
Ooh.
It's been genuinely, I think Hecate from Wonder Woman was the last time neither of us had read something.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that
before we covered it on the show. Like it was our first time experiencing it was just for the show.
Because a lot of that stuff we started just introducing each other to things that we liked.
Yeah, because I think it was more like one person should know it and one person shouldn't. But I think the last time both of us came in cold was... Yeah.
I think if we had different opinions on that one.
You liked it, didn't you?
I did not. If I did. I don't think I did.
I remember not liking it. And it's funny because Hecate is in this too. So the Sandman. Now, I'm going to give you a little elevator pitch to the Sandman. So the Sandman is a character who was trapped for quite a long time. He is an endless one, which means he is not a god, maybe something more. He's the Lord of Dreams. He was captured for a long time by humans, and he's back. He now has to figure out the world and get back to the things he has lost while trying to rediscover his family and the world he has been trapped from in a metaphorical and physical glass cage. How was that? Did you like that opening? Did you like that elevator pitch?
I would call him a civil servant.
Who's his boss?
We are his boss.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
You
But our
remember the whole
taxpayer
conversation
dollars
every-
don't go towards the Sandman, do they? What's his pension like?
All right, sheeple, wake up. Your money's going to the Sandman.
The Sandman. Jake, do you want to tell us about the creative team? Because there's a lot of names.
Here's you. Well, I mean, the writer's your buddy. Your
My good
rotten
time
soldier, your good time pal. Neil Gaiman. Is this the first time we've talked about Gaiman other than you knowing him, having met him?
I think it's the first Gaiman book we've covered. Yeah, because we haven't done any of his like Batman story. We haven't done anything Gaiman. Wow, this is wild. This is our first one, and it's probably his best book, his best comic. I mean, I love his books, but like this, fuck. So as I said, neither of us have read this before, and I think we're both in agreement that this book fucks. Like,
Yeah, oh yeah,
it's
definitely fucks.
Very good.
I was worried about this because it's the high art seat styled book that I was afraid it was going to come off overly pretentious because of just this period of time they had people like writing a little too highbrow, but this hits the mark great. Like it's higher brow than The Question was, and I mean those were both targeted for the mature line of readers, and then there's Starman, which is pretentious as fuck.
See, I haven't
Still
read Starman
good,
since I was young.
Yeah,
I thought it was okay. I don't remember enough of it to be like
I
say
read it
yes or no.
my senior year of college when DC Universe dropped. I read a good chunk of it. I read like the first 20 issues. I'll have to go back to it because I know my boy.
Artists.
Oh yeah. Artist Sam Keith, Mike Dringenberg, Dringenberg, Malcolm Jones III, Chris Bachalo, Michael Zulli.
Is it Bachelor or Bacala?
Bacello, I've heard. Bachalo.
You know, we haven't tried to announce names in a long time either, which is awesome.
I mean, it's good that Tom Napolitano's not on here because we can say his name now.
We can. We've said it many times.
Yeah, Michael Zulli, Kelly Jones, Charles Vess, Colleen Doran, colorist Daniel Vozo, Xylanol,
Yeah, Xylanol.
Stephen Olif, letterers, Todd Klein, and John Costanza.
Before we get in,
I can't Costanza this.
Before we get any further into this, two things. Todd Klein fucks. He's one of the best letterers of all time. Period. Like, I'm not looking to even discuss that. His lettering in this book is unbelievable.
Oh, it's great.
And so it's funny because I've been reading this recently, and I had to read Echolands because I was interviewing J.H. William again, and I didn't realize that he did both. And I get to see I can see those hints of the Sandman in some of the lettering, but you see how much he's progressed, and
you see the Sandman in the lettering.
Yeah, but he's
Don't you see him in your dream? Do you see him in letters?
He's one of the greatest there ever was, and I think letterers don't get enough appreciation, but Todd Klein, you can see his work and so how it's inspired so many letterers that are out there today, especially those ones that are doing things like horror or the supernatural stuff. You can see
spooky shit.
Yeah. Also, I did want to mention, because we are going to talk about Karen Berger later, so we're not going to mention her yet, but I did want to mention Dave McKean, who did all of the covers. And I think something about this period of comic, the thing that is something you instantly know is a Vertigo book, or Hellblazer and the Sandman. Mm-hmm. He also did Arkham, A Serious House on Earth, and a couple other things. But like these covers are they're these beautiful photograph art combinations that are unlike anything that's ever been done in comics before, and they're breath, like each one of them has so much detail and so many things going on. It's interesting to look at.
Not overwhelming.
No, it's
I think we've had only one book that I would say was the art was overwhelming, and we ended up not covering it.
Yeah, but this one, like the cover of issue 3 is so like it's got Constantine. You know that's Constantine, but there's so much going on in like the rafters, and it's like so much is going into each individual piece of this book that it's always working. But yeah, Dave McKean also retired, but they got him to come out of retirement to do a title sequence for each of the Sandman episode credits.
Oh, cool.
They're very good. Like I'm not allowed to say like give my full review yet, but it's
Dan's gonna get hit with a heavy embargo and some tariffs.
Yeah, tariffs. They're gonna hit me with tariffs. But like I'm looking at this cover, there's like eyes. Oh man, I love the mixture of mediums because there's like photography, there's actual like items, there's art, there's painting, there's writing. I love these covers so much. But Jake, do you want to give us a brief history of the Sandman?
Well, I'm giving you more of
the Vertigo's
the
DC
history of Vertigo and the history of the line of mature readers' lines with DC. DC began to allow books starting with the Saga of the Swamp Thing to be published without being submitted for approval by the Comics Code Authority with its mature line of comics in the 1980s, where Neil Gaiman's Sandman would begin its life in 1989. Vertigo Comics was born out of the mature readers line as such books such as Batman The Dark Knight Returns and Watchmen, both edited by Karen Berger, found great success. So, in the following years, as the line grew, they allowed Berger to start her own imprint, Vertigo, in 1993. The first issue was published. The first book that was published under the imprint was a Sandman spinoff called Death, The High Cost of Living. So, naturally, the main title of Sandman would be stamped with the Vertigo imprint, starting with issue 47.
Do you you didn't end up reading The High Cost of Living, did you?
No, I had to watch some more Digimon.
Oh, I devoured it. It was so good.
And
it's only 3
watching.
issues. It's still worth it for you to check out. Like, it's really good. I think this is like one of those books where I'm actually gonna like read the rest of it because like I really enjoyed it. So, some of the major themes that are explored in the Sandman, death being a big one, change, family, rules. There's a lot to do with rules and the rule of man versus higher powers, the necessity and danger of dreams and dreamers, the powers of story, the struggle for freedom from forces both external and internal. Some of those were from an article from the now defunct Comic Alliance website, which everyone is like, oh, that was the greatest thing in comics journalism. We're the greatest thing in comics journalism.
Yeah. We killed somebody in our opening. What are you going to fucking do about it?
Oh, God. The best there is. Yeah, what is their show about? They've killed, like, a lot of people. It's, like, a big part of their kayfabe. Like,
We have a shotgun that's for beanbags. That's actually buckshot.
It's just a gun.
Yeah.
It's like when... It's like
We're
in,
leftists. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. We're fine. All right, Jake, who
Well,
like
you
this
wrote
book?
this one. You just wrote Goth.
Yeah, Goth. It's a Goth book. Goth.
I will extend that to alt people, lovers of alternative styles of music, people who really like cereal, real cereal enthusiasts, there's an issue in there for you guys. I guess they'd be you guys big fans of, I guess they're called terramorphs.
What?
Yeah, Gilbert. I'm not going to spoil it until after the thing, but terramorphs.
Yeah, got it. I think honestly, this is one of those books that's like,
it's a good book. Everyone should read it.
It's like a classic comic.
Yeah, it's there's something I want to talk about in the discussion before we get into the story at large.
I do. Before I talk about where you can get it, I do want to give a content warning. We don't typically cover things that deal with all of this. We haven't since The Watchmen, but there is a lot of heavy themes and situations in this that deal with sexual assault, suicide, and a lot of other heavy topics. So I do suggest don't let kids read this. I think it should be a little more mature people who can handle that kind of stuff. And if that stuff bothers you, it may not be the book for you. There's
abuse,
DC
abduction, and stuff like that. You don't.
Yeah,
read with caution.
Yeah, there you go. Read with caution. The themes are handled well, in my opinion, but I just want to make sure like your
mileage
aware.
May vary.
Yes. So, where can you get it? Well, the first 8 issues were actually put on DC Universe for free by DC Comics. I don't know how long it's going to be on there for, but they have reprinted them recently in full book format. So it's like book 1, book 2, book 3. We're covering book 1 today.
Which is issues 1 through 20.
Yep. So those arcs would be Preludes and Nocturnes, The Doll's House, and the Dream Country. So that's what we'll be covering today. You can get these at most bookstores because it is one of those really popular books, but you can also find it at most comic book shops. If you don't have a comic book shop, go to thirdeyecomics.com and they can hook you up. I wish if we were sponsored, that would be great, but like genuinely, I want you to know that we are not sponsored. We say that because we trust them to treat anyone who listens to this show well.
I go there
and
every
anyone
week.
possible. It's the best comic book shop. I'm not afraid to say it.
Yeah.
Other comic book shops are great, but you're not Third Eye. You didn't raise us.
Yeah, you also probably don't have 7 stores at this point.
Yeah.
God,
Oh my God.
7
yeah.
stores? Yeah.
It's there. He's getting up there. Oh shit! I have to text him. Okay.
He'll get his Toys R Us one day.
Yeah. Did you want to talk before we got to the next section, or you want to save it?
Let's save it for the discussion because I want to hear what your thoughts are.
All right. So we are going to jump into the world of dreams. We're going to jump off that dock into the dream world.
Get sleepy with it.
What? Hey, Mr.
What?
Sandman, bring me a dream. Make him the finest that I've ever seen. See you after the jump.
Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make her the cutest that I've ever seen. Give her 2 lips like roses and clover. Then tell her that her lonesome nights are over. Sandman, I'm so alone. Don't have nobody to call my own. Please turn on your magic beams. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream.
Oh God! Everybody, he threw sand in my eyes.
Pocket sand. Damn, this isn't magic sand. This is coarse.
This isn't even like beach sand.
It's commercial sand.
Yeah. Whew. All right. So I want to. One of the things I really enjoyed about this whole thing was that the Endless are just kind of entities facilitating the world around them and are devices in the comic to help the plot of others. Like they're not. There are times where they are the main characters, but they're kind of like a literary device.
I was saying that to you. Like this book doesn't feel like anything else. Like the characters are there, and sometimes we follow them, but sometimes we don't follow them at all. Like they're just a part of the story. And Neil himself is big of like stories, that kind of stuff. Like stories are in stories, and this is a book about stories.
Storyception.
Yeah, so I think I like that observation a lot, because that's what I was saying. Like, issue 20, like, the other characters don't come in till, like, almost the end. And it's not about them. It's about different situations and, like, I don't know, a lot of trauma, honestly. Like, it's dealing with a lot of different situations.
Yeah, there's a lot. Even how life is for Dream. Granted, I think if you see Dream now, he should be updated in appearance.
What do you mean?
Like the spiked up hair, that's not what people do anymore. It's very. I mean, there are some people, but
what's that book, Sandman? The Black Label book. What's it called? Sandman Universe.
Sandman Universe. Well, that's the Sandman Universe. That's its own imprint line.
Is it its own imprint?
Uh-huh.
He looks different in that, doesn't he? He's got a new costume, I think. I think they've updated him.
I don't actually know.
He's white. He's like very white. There's the Jay Lee cover.
Well, I don't know which one it is, and I haven't read it, so I don't know if it's Morpheus or Daniel.
It might be Daniel, because he's got like this cool cloak on.
That's Daniel Hall, everybody. Grandson of Dan's least favorite character.
Fucking hate Hawkman. We don't cover DC as much. I don't get to talk about how much I fucking hate Hawkman anymore. But you know what?
Watch Hawkman be your favorite character in Black Adam.
Looks pretty sick in Black Adam. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, remember when there was talks of a Hawkman movie?
Was there?
Yeah, at some point.
Well,
all I remember is there was only one person in the world who I can think of that's got a following that loves Hawkman. That's Rhett McLaughlin of Rhett and Link. Good Mythical Morning Rhett.
Yeah.
He loves Hawkman.
So, back to the Sandman. Do you want to start with issue 1?
Yeah, because we both went through and did it issue by issue. So let's do that.
We haven't done this in a long time. We haven't done issue by issue, but I think there's so much in this series that I want to talk about that I don't want to just glaze over.
And a lot
jump
of these
between
can
things.
be condensed. A lot of these are one-offs.
Yeah, some of them we're not going to get too far into, but the first issue could be an entire movie within itself. Like, basically they capture him in a basement, and time goes on around him as this family, like, what do they call him? Not the Magi. They call him, what does he make people call him? Is it the Magi?
Oh, hold on. I forgot. Oh, I've been prepping for too many episodes, folks. Oh, too many episodes.
But he, like, makes them call him Wizard, essentially, and he, like...
You shouldn't trust anybody who makes them call you Wizard.
Yeah, no. But then he dies, and his son takes over, and they kind of just grow contemptuous towards... Oh, Roderick Burgess was his name. That was the father, and the son...
Magus.
Magus, that was it.
Magus.
So
Majesty.
this family keeps Sandman in a little glass ball for, what is it, over 50 years.
Well, I mean, you can't throw pocket sand in a thing of glass, especially when you don't have pockets.
Genuinely, that was their fear, that he was going to throw sand at them, and that's what he did. But you get to watch this family, like, hate him because he won't speak. He won't talk to them. He won't give them what they want. And they didn't want him. They wanted death. They wanted to control death.
I want death.
Yeah. So they just keep him until he finally breaks out. But the thing is, while he's away, no one can dream, which is like a really
it's a big, massive
thing.
chain of consequences for what they did, with a big old domino effect.
Yeah, essentially it changes the world. Like, there's the sleeping sickness, where no one can, like, there's people who just cannot wake up, and one of them is
Unity.
I want to say Sinclair, but Kincaid, who ends up being a big part of the story later. A lot of these characters that have been affected by this single issue, like, it goes on. That's something this series does really well. It's just, like, have one thing and then it comes up later, but in, like, a really cool way, and not like I forgot that.
Like the Shakespeare thing.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah, I really want to talk about that. But as we're seeing all these characters who don't have the who cannot wake up, there's one scene that is the three who we've been following, and on the bottom, it's Wesley Dodds, the Sandman of JSA fame, one of my favorite characters. And it says, let me read this because I'll take any chance to talk about Wesley. The universe knows someone is missing, and slowly it attempts to replace him. Wesley Dodds' nightmares have stopped since he started going out at night. He puts evil people to sleep with gas and sprinkles sand on them, leaves them for the police to find in the morning. The idea came to him in his sleep. He doesn't dream about the man in the strange helmet anymore. No more burning eyes. Everything's all right. Wesley Dodds sleeps the sleep of the just. And that's the name of the issue. The sleep of the just. So the idea that Wesley has existed as the Sandman in that time isn't LOL, there's a character of the same name. Wesley is the Sandman at that point. Like, he's doing what Dream cannot, to a point, because he's only human.
It's also interesting how they've expanded this concept to other characters. Like, Dream Girl from Legion of Superheroes, she is now a part of the concept of Dream.
Is she really?
Yeah, and the current like sand-bodied one, yeah. For the Bendis run, it's also kind of shown as it kind of hints at it in the newest issue of Superman, Son of Kal-El, when Dreamer's there.
That she's a part of it too?
I'd have to go back through and read it again, but that's what it read like to me.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess, I mean, it makes sense that it's all connected. Like, this book takes place in DC continuity as much as it can take place in DC continuity, if you know what I mean. And I think...
The sands of continuity change.
I think...
The tide.
I don't know what year... 93 is when Mystery Theater started. And I know there's references to Sandman in it. So it's... Oh, yeah, it literally opens with... there's a... It looks like one of the women from the house, and you see the mask of... Dream. Like, it's all connected. So, one day we'll cover Mystery Theater. But, at the end of this issue is one of my favorite things from the series, in that the way he curses him isn't to kill him. It isn't to give him nightmares forever. It's to give him eternal waking. And I think it's such a scary thing, because it's like, you know that feeling when you wake up from a nightmare and you're like, oh, it's that over and over and over and over until you die. You wake up and you realize you're still in a nightmare, and it starts over and it starts over and it starts over, and it's like, what a fucking sinister thing to do. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. I mean, granted, Dream doesn't seem to do those types of things to people who don't deserve it.
No, not at all. I think Dream is just in the most of the
pretty
things
much.
he does.
I mean, other than the Vortex thing, but that's more of a, housekeeping thing for him.
I think it's less of a, I don't know that I have another choice. You know what I mean?
It's just
like
the best.
It's like he doesn't know he can do other things.
Yeah.
But yeah, issue 1. Did you have anything about it you wanted to say before we get to the second?
No. I really want to get on to issue 2 because I really like the characters in that.
Cain and Abel?
Cain and Abel, which we've talked about once before when we talked about Zatanna and Mystic U.
They were in Mystic U?
Yeah. But I think they were solid colors. Hold on, let me look at that.
Welcome to our show where we look up other books. Because I'm doing the same thing. Because I really like that book, but my memory is that of a goldfish.
Yeah, they were the different colored suits.
So they have
dragon.
control of the House of Mystery and House of Secrets, and those are big DC things, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're like big parts of the whole like spooky.
Solid
spooky
plug. Go
stuff.
listen to a Zatanna episode.
Yeah, go back and listen to our episode about Zatanna, where we kill Zatara.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's fine. It was before
Fuck
the
you,
reboot.
Giovanni.
No, it's
You
before
ain't
the
gonna
reboot.
steal
We didn't
my
do it.
Pokemon today.
Fuck
That's
you,
the same guy, right?
Giovanni. Yeah, yeah. Oh, they are there. Holy shit! Look at those little guy. Look at those little fuck. Oh, and they have their little dragon.
Yeah.
So I guess this is before. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Neat. Awesome. I love their little gargoyle. Gerving.
That's what Abel wants to name it, but he's not allowed.
Yeah. Then King kills him.
Yeah, because gargoyles have to have the letter G as their name. I think he names it Goldie.
Yeah, I love that he keeps killing him over and over. But he does say that it's happening slower, which means like maybe the power is running out from Dream and things like that. So it is wild to see two biblical characters in here. But I don't think they ever reference that they're biblical characters, other than like that Cain killed Abel.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of plays with a lot of different mythologies and religions.
Yeah, because all of it is stories.
Oh yeah, there's Hecate, and then there's Calliope.
Yo, Hecate's look in this is so cool. Like the like Glenn Stacy looking one. Then you have like the typical witch that you think of. I think it's a really interesting use of the three faces in one. Mm-hmm. Lucian's in this issue, who is essentially like Dream's Alfred. Would you say?
Yeah,
Love them. They're very funny. Because they like the one issue they like walk through all the house and like, well, guess what? People have escaped.
yeah, it is. Of those three, it is the Fiddler's Green.
What'd you say?
It is the Fiddler's Dream, the Corinthian, and who are the other two?
We'll get to them in the Sandman issue. This also in this issue is the first time we see how Dream like goes through the dream world, like through dream time and the unconscious, and it is so fucking cool how he like jumps from dream to dream, like rockets himself from one to another. Like the gallows come from a young Japanese movie buff, her head roiling from a serpent of old Hammer horror films. Like she's jumping to another. Like he's it's so cool. It's like he's hyperspacing between people's dreams.
Yeah, with them piercing eyes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. His
Piercing
face is so
stars.
long in some of these issues. He looks like Adam Driver.
Well,
You
Adam
thinking about
Driver. Adam
You thinking-
Driver.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I mean, you're not wrong, but
He's like 9,000 feet tall, and he's a corked up white boy, I think. So
well, I'll have to wait and see until he has the high-waisted pants.
Sandman's got the pants up to his nipples.
Yeah, baby. That's real endless. Endless pants. We killed Dream.
So yeah.
Where are my dreams? All right.
What else? Do you have anything else for issue 2 you want to talk about?
Let me look at my notes real quick. My notes just say, "Hey, Cain and Abel, holy fuck, Irving."
Is Irving the dragon?
That's what.
Oh, that's what he
Abel
names the gargoyle.
Gargoyle, but then he gets killed.
Rip.
But then was my boy John Constantine in issue 3, "Dream a Little Dream of Me."
So, was John canon in DC at this point? Because like I know he's got like a weird trajectory with canon in DC.
Yeah, no, he's canon because he started in Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing was
okay.
canon.
But was it canon at first?
To my knowledge, yes.
Because like remember when they came back in Brightest Day and that was like a big deal that they came back?
Yeah.
So like I never know if like what is canon and what's not. Like I mean, it doesn't really matter.
I'd say it's safe to assume that 98% of whatever was going on in Hellblazer was canon. It's magic stuff, you can kind of get away with it. I think it was definitely rolled into it at a certain point.
Yeah.
Magic stuff is also kind of periphery and DC.
Yeah, you never really know what's good and what's not. Like,
Yeah,
who knows?
you know, unless it's Zatanna and Dr. Fate, it's kind of up in the air.
Yeah. So, with this issue, all right, so we need to talk about that Sandman had all of his, like, kind of toys taken from him.
Oh, yeah, he had his gem. He had his pocket sand. What was his third thing? Oh, his mask.
It was his mask. So his mask, his pocket sand,
his
and
elephant mask.
So he's got to get those back because he doesn't have his power.
Yeah. So he's going for his pocket sand first. And was last seen in the possession of John Constantine.
So he's got to go find John.
I mean, he finds him right after he buys a pack of cigarettes, doesn't he?
Yeah, silk cut cigarettes.
Yeah. Filterless cigarettes. What was the
So-
music trying to reach him? What was that about? I forgot.
So he's like walking through and like the music is coming on like Mr. Sandman,
Oh, yeah,
bring
that's
me a-"
right.
and it's like music is like
it's every other song that has the word Sandman and Dream in it.
yeah, it's like trying to get John's attention that he's coming. So John is in a diner and there is a crazy old woman outside screaming at the window.
Oh, you want to
And
know what my
the-
note about her is?
What?
Okay, so my notes on this issue are John Constantine, what a guy. Lady talked like Ethan.
Lady talk like Ethan. Yeah, so Mad Hattie, she's 347 years old and she makes me smile. So she is like a main
great.
character in Death's miniseries, and she's looking for her heart. She lost her heart. But she's great. She's like, John, he's coming. Morpheus is going to be here. You better get ready.
It's morphin time.
So John is like super nonchalant when he's talking to Dream, like telling him he looks embarrassing for his clothes. Because at this point, Morpheus is wearing like this. I'm going to call him Morpheus or Dream. I'm just going to call him Dream because I'll keep getting him screwed up. He wears this cloak that has like fire at the bottom, but the fire like turns into souls sometimes. It's a sick look. But John's like, be dead embarrassing. Like, just mocking him. Also, Sandman's like, has his arms crossed and he's like, is this better? And John goes, I ought to introduce you to the big green bloke. You'd like him. He
Yeah.
hasn't got a sense of humor either.
Hold on, before we go into that, I want to talk about John Constantine because he just got his new book by Cami Garcia announced. That's That's the thing I wanted him to have, but I didn't want it to be a YA book. I wanted it to be a harder book about his
is hard.
time in music. Huh?
It is pretty hard.
Is it really?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah,
I'm gonna read
it's
it
not like it's not a young, but young adult can handle big themes too. So don't undercut that.
then. Okay.
But like
that's my bad then.
Also, it's Isaac. Oh god, I just blanked. Isaac Goodhart, who is one of the best artists out there, and I hope he like has bigger work soon because like nobody does hair like him. He does the best hair in comics.
I'm trying to remember what other book has he done.
The Mr. Freeze Young A.
That's what it is. That's
he's
what it is.
done,
I have that one. I still have to read that one.
Oh, it's fucking phenomenal. It is so good. He's been on the. I interviewed him for that. I think actually, super cool dude. But
Super cool, Mr. Freeze, huh?
so John left the bag of sand when he went to Alaska for 6 months, and he left his girlfriend at the time, who he says is amazing Rachel, junkie Rachel. And the thing is, like the way he talks about it, He says when he got back, she was gone along with Mysterio, the Telly, Miss Silver Surfers, any junk she could convert to money. I think that's John like pushing blame on someone else, that he just left someone for 6 months and expected them to be there when he got back. Because we find out later how in love with him she was, and like it's clear that he still cares about her, but like when we find her, the sand has changed and she's like a husk of what she was. Like the house is covered in flesh.
Yeah, she's become like addicted to. Wasn't it like her mother or father that was the flesh was from?
Yeah, it was like and then somebody like tried to break into the house and he got like the dream wasn't meant for humans. Like it just wasn't meant for us to have, and we took it, so bad things happen.
Yeah.
And it's sad because
sand.
John
you
says
saw what
like,
happened to Indiana Jones.
John says all those nasty things about her, but he does care about her because he's like, can you give her a painless death? And her last thing is like dreaming of John. Like it's very heartbreaking, and he's like, I've been having nightmares. Can you help me to dream? And he's like, I don't like asking for help, but please, I need to sleep. So it's a really nice issue where John isn't just like a cunt the whole time. So
yeah.
Want to talk about issue 4?
We're going to hell, baby.
Do you want to scroll down on the script for me real quick?
Yeah, what the fuck is this?
You don't like that? You don't like that image?
Are you just horny for
That's That's the devil from the show. That's Gwendolyn Christie.
Right.
Yeah. So
there's
there's an image on this with a rhinoceros riding on a bicycle, honking a horn that says "honk if you're horny," and it is just Lucifer from this show. So I know you want to talk about Etrigan, but I want to talk about the devil first. So Lucifer, Morningstar. When we first see him, he's like super androgynous and looks like David Bowie. Like that's David Bowie's face, right? Like I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
That's like just straight up David Bowie.
That actually kind of reminds me of Lucifer and Devilman, because in that it's
looking it up.
Trying to think of if the term I'm thinking of is okay. Well, I mean intersex.
Yeah.
Would be the proper term.
Yeah, so I like Lucifer's look in this a whole lot. And like Lucifer and Dream are kind of like Dream less so. Lucifer's like, well, what are you gonna do here? This is hell. You don't have any power here the whole time. But
well, yeah, there's also the two other Lords of Hell now.
Yeah, who is it? Beelzebub, who's a fly, and what's the other one?
I don't remember.
But I like how Lucifer is depicted in this in like a white full body like suit with huge like wings. Like they're the devil wings, but you can see they were once not. I think it's a very cool look instead of having like a full like red devil type motif, and like it's like the devil is attractive. The devil has to be attractive.
Well, this is Lucifer. I mean, this also goes with the notion of Lucifer being the fallen angel is not supposed to be the same figure as Satan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Lucifer is a hottie. Like, you have to be, like, you can't entice someone if you're not a hottie.
I mean, that morning star. You got that morning wood, am I right?
No.
Right to jail.
Right to jail. But yeah, I really love Lucifer in this book. Like, I think I'm excited to see more of them later. I'm very excited to see more of them in the show because it's Gwendolyn Christie. But Hell itself is such a unique blend of body
Brianna
horror.
Tarth.
Yeah, Brianna Tarth.
That's the name.
The big woman. Is the big woman still here? Oh, that show fucked her over so bad. She was so fucking cool. She deserves so much better. Fuck Game of Thrones.
Oh, well, hold on. Game of Thrones didn't fuck her over as much as Star Wars.
Oh my god, I forgot that was her in Star Wars.
Yep.
Oh,
poor Phasma.
God, such a Boba Fett thing. I really hope they like fix that someday.
And then they bring her back just to do it again.
Oh my god.
Fuck.
Oh my god, they did do it twice.
Yeah.
Fuck the sequels. But it's like all of the art for Hell is like this weird mixture of human bodies like together with metals and trees, and it's like just a beautiful hellscape. And it's changing. Hell is different. Jake, you want to talk about Etrigan?
Oh god, Etrigan looks so fucking feral, dude. He looks like he's kind of like falling apart in the heat of hell. Like he's got like his jaw
Like his
low.
cheeks are like coming apart.
Yeah.
It's a neat look. I really enjoy it.
He looks so rabid. It's awesome.
Yeah, big fan of that. But I do think like going to hell and then finding out where his mask was, and he just like kind of takes it back from a demon. That was pretty cool. Issue 5, Passengers. This is where he's going to find out where his jewel is. But the people who know where his jewel is are the Justice League International, because they had beaten Dr. Destiny at some point. Or Dr. Was that his name, Dr. Destiny?
Yep.
So Dr. Destiny, and it opens with Scott Free sleeping, but it gives like a retelling of the Fourth World story of Scott Free, and it's like you can see it's got the Kirby style, but it's like a it's a nightmare. We're looking at a nightmare, and it's so interesting to see like Granny to be like it's a very different in the way that Neil writes it versus how like Kirby wrote it in a bombastic way. It's like it hurts. Like Granny loves me, so she has them bind me in chains, encase my feet in concrete. She wraps me in her love, and her voice ties me tight with steel and granite. I've been a bad little boy. I said a bad thing. I left her, and this is what they do to bad little boys. They put them in the murder machines. Like, it's a very... And you can see this come up later. Like, this is how this kind of story is depicted now, rather than it was as, like, a big adventure type thing. Like, you can see it in Mr. Miracle and things like that. So I love seeing, like, this really, like, bright time period of comics be, like, really fun. I mean, it's fucked up in general, but, like, kind of put up in that light. Do you want to talk about your...
Completely skipped my brain.
You want to talk about Martian Manhunter?
I think I accidentally skipped that issue.
Really?
Yeah, I think I accidentally skipped it.
You skipped the issue with Martian Manhunter?
Oh yeah, on accident, completely.
Oh,
I must have been reading it issue 4 at night, and then the next day I thought I read up to issue 5, and I just skipped to issue 6.
Oh well, you missed him say to Scott. He goes, Scott's like, "Who was that?" And he goes, "An old god, a very old god. Come, Scott Free, let us hit the kitchen. I have a secret stash of Oreos of which you are welcome to partake."
Oh my god,
Just
that's
a
amazing.
nice little thing. But
That's
it's weird to
amazing.
see these characters that are in such a fun sitcom book show up in my sad goth book. I like that though. I like that all of these stories can exist at once.
Yeah, it's kind of like how they're showing up in the spy thriller book.
Yeah, that has a different tinge to it though, because like it's supposed to be like that book.
Yeah.
But issue 6, 24 hours. This issue is the most fucked up out of the bunch.
Woo! What a time! What a time!
What a fucking issue of comics. Dr. Destiny is a goofy ass. What is he? Silver Age?
Yeah, silver and bronze.
He's like an older character who's got like a little spooky skull face.
Might have been bronze only.
Not in this though. Not in Sandman. He doesn't have a spooky
You might
skull
have seen
face.
that the episode of Justice League where Batman has to drink all the coffee.
Yes. He's kind of a goofy character. Did we talk about him in our first episode?
We talked about him in it might have been our JSA, or it was our...
I think it was Justice League. I think it was the first episode.
No, because we talked about him when he was in the Justice League Justice Society crossover, because he kidnaps Dream Girl.
Yeah.
Because it was the episode about Starman and Jessica Cruz.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, he looks very different in this. He, I don't know how to describe it except the Crypt Keeper with a little bit more muscle on his body. He's terrifying. He wears a trench coat. He is fucked up.
Yeah, he's a flasher.
Yeah.
He
is in the Sandman show. It actually is him. He was created by Gardner Fox.
Okay, yeah, no, so that's Golden Age actually.
He's Golden Age.
Well, no, Gardner Fox did do a lot in Silver Age. Whatever.
It doesn't matter. But yeah, he's like a goofy character from 1961. So.
Oh, that's Silver.
Yeah, so he's fucked the fuck up. Like he's got the jewel, which allows him use of Morpheus's power. He comes into this diner where we see all these like people like living their lives, like typical diner stories. Like, oh, she's being nice to him because he lost his wife, and she's here by herself, and it turns into stories about one time this lady fucked a corpse,
and how the one guy's wife was driven to death because he was having an affair with the waitress who knows everybody and documented everybody's life. And then
who's going to release a book about them too?
Yes, and then he reveals to her that her son, who moved to New York, was a male prostitute, and he paid him for sex because he could.
Yeah.
And how the reason the one girl, her girlfriend, won't speak to her is because she hit her.
It's really fucking dark.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
So the waitress nails the dude's hand to the table like a crucifixion. It's
the orgy. After all,
everyone
the
fucks while he watches, and he's
sitting on the counter and he says, "Neat."
Like, it's such a fucking dark, fucked up issue, but there's these like weird moments where I couldn't help but laugh, especially hour 4. He watched television where he's got his little head, his like disgusting fucking Crypt Keeper head in his hands, watching this dude do a puppet show on TV where he like goes to kill himself, and he just starts laughing, and I was like, what the fuck is this issue? Like, I was not expecting it to go like super wild this early in.
Oh yeah. Oh god.
At one point he's buck naked with God written on his chest in blood, where everyone's telling him how beautiful he is.
Yeah.
It's a fucking absolute bonkers. Oh man, it's like one of those issues you'll never forget, and I hear it's actually fully adapted in the show, like straight up. So real excited to see.
No.
Yeah.
Neat.
Neat. I love that fucking image. It's so fucked. Because, like, if I could post it and it's this little weird guy saying neat, but, like, if people know, they know.
Yeah, you
but
put
then,
that in a lot of group chats that nobody but me would know.
Yep. So, Jareem does show up to stop Dr. Destiny. What did you want to
do?
say?
They put up their dukes, and it does not go well.
So, that issue is called Sound and Fury. Now, the next issue is called Sound of Her Wings, and I wonder what, like, I haven't had enough time to think about what the connection is there. Like, is it the connection between, like, this person is trying to control the world they're not supposed to control, and death is the one setting people free, and the idea of death being an escape? I don't know. There's a lot there. So, issue 7, they kind of have this back and forth. Also, we'll talk about that in a second, but you wrote something here. They have different shaped panels for each other.
Yeah, so if you look at it in, which issue is this? 7?
7.
Yeah, so they kind of trade blows, and once it goes to when Dream is losing to, I want to say this is Dream losing. When Destiny's winning, he has like more rigid boxes, and then when Morpheus or it might be vice versa, Morpheus has it. It's like more like rounded and like wavy lines, and then it keeps going back and forth, and then he gets his more traditional look with a cape and all that stuff, and then it kind of goes in and out. It's really
Yeah, I
just
don't- I
for
don't-
where they're
so I don't
trading
know if-
blows at the beginning. It might not be intentional. It just might be something I'm noticing.
No, I think it might be intentional, but I think it's to give the illusion that he was allowing him to fight. Like I don't think that he was ever going to lose.
Who?
Dream.
Dream? No. He on some level he does lose because he loses the Dreamstone. It's just that he didn't understand
Yeah, he
what
didn't understand
losing the
that wasn't-
Dreamstone was
yeah.
going to just have it all reabsorbed into his body and become more powerful because the Dreamstone was made from him. So on one level, yeah, he lost the fight, but he won the war.
Yeah. There is one really good page where Destiny thinks he wins, and he's like, I did it, I killed him, whoever he was, whatever it was, it's dead. The ruby, it's gone, I feel so strange, I feel so different. Now I rule Dream World. I'll hide in my dreams, I'll never go back. Never leave here for the real world where people hurt you, where they don't care, where they die when you still need them. I will be a wise and tolerant monarch, dispensing justice fairly and only settling nightmares and rip out the minds of evil and the wicked, or just anybody I don't like. I'm the king of dreams, of everything. But it's funny. I always thought when I became king, I thought there would be applause. I thought somebody would say something.
And then he's in the palm of Dream's hand, and he says,
But I
"Thank you,
think
John
that,
D."
I think that page itself is so absent of, and it's just him, and then it's white.
Yeah,
that's it.
It's all white.
I
Yeah.
think that's a really beautiful page of like
Especially
him being alone and like him.
Because like it kept on changing art, and it changed his like setting and all of that jazz from going between dreams and dreams.
But I think the whole part that I really was clinging to is, I'll never go back, never leave for the real world where people hurt you, where they don't care. Like, you see why he's doing it. You see why he's so fucked up. Like, he's like, all he's wanted is help, and he's been locked in this place his whole life by his mother.
Yeah.
He's been locked in Arkham his whole life, not just a place. He's been locked in hell, in a cage, rotting. I mean, he was a villain, but like Arkham Asylum is not the place you go for help. Know what I mean?
No, it's not.
But yeah, then they bring him back to Arkham, like,
Yep.
and you know who's there? And I'll read my note exactly. Scarecrow is a little bitch. I want to talk about this. Fucking nerd, punk ass, love that guy. This dude's dropping like quotes from like philosophers. I just want to beat him up. Like I
Yeah.
want to push him into a locker. Like Scarecrow is the kind of person you just want to bully. Like he really is.
him and Riddler.
Oh, Riddler, I don't want to bully. I want to push him into a giant blender. I hate the Riddler.
Yeah.
No, but the thing is,
there's actually an issue of the question where Riddler's just portrayed as a complete schmuck. It's great.
he is a schmuck. I'm excited to see the Tom King Mitch thing where it's like the Riddler's done doing jokes. I'm excited to see the One Bad Day.
Yeah, One
Yeah.
Bad Day.
So, but like, it's funny because Scarecrow says, "Oh ho, my sainted aunt, have I become a victim of brain fever, the curse of academia?" Like he's like, "Oh, am I too smart that I've gone crazy?" But the aunt thing, I don't know what Scarecrow's current continuity is, but I love the story of his aunt locking him in a fucking old church and letting crows attack him, and that's why they call him Scarecrow. I love that.
I did not know that.
Oh, Sandman Year One is great. It's Sean Murphy art, which is great, and he's not writing, and you don't have to think about him being a shitster. It's a great Year One is a really cool Scarecrow story because it's like I don't know how canon it is anymore, but I think it's my favorite Year One because, and I don't really Scarecrow has a cool look, but other than that, I don't think he's that interesting. But this story is really good because his aunt fucks his life up. Issue 8, The Sound of Her Wings. This issue opens with Todd. This issue opens with Todd the fucking goat Klein with a vicious punt lettering of a kid getting nailed in the head with a soccer ball. Like Dream is just throwing bread to birds while this kid is getting domed in the back. It's such a funny visual. But yeah, this is where death is introduced, and I understand Thanos' whole thing now. I get it. She talks about Mary Poppins, and
She a babe.
It's like talking to that emo, like it's like talking to a really sad goth kid who's just like, I don't I don't want to like anything. And she's like, I fucking love Mary Poppins. Fun, flying kites, all that stuff. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. And Dream is like, what? She goes, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Utterly fantabulous word, huh? It means, great, wonderful, ginchy, gnarly, peachy keen. Like, she's just talking to this man who is clearly going through shit, like just really depressed. And she's like, fucking love Mary Poppins, my guy.
Yeah.
It's good, but then it's not even just that. Like, he starts feeling like he's feeling sorry for himself, and she's like, fuck you, you self-righteous prick. Like, get over it. I was like, damn, good for her. And then it goes into what she does. Like, she's the one who's taking your life. She's the Reaper. And he goes on this, like, 2-page thing I'm going to read real quick. I find myself wondering about humanity. Their attitude towards my sister's gift is so strange. Why do they fear the sunless lands? It is as natural to die as it is to be born, but they fear her, dread her. Feebly they attempt to place at her. They do not love her. Many thousands of years ago, I heard a song in a dream, a mortal song that celebrated her gift. I still remember it. Death is before me today, like the recovery of a sick man, like going forth into a garden after sickness. Death is before me today, like the odor of myrrh, like sitting under a sail in a good wind. Death is before me today, like the course of a stream, like the return of man from the war galley to his house. Death is before me today, like the home that a man longs to see after years spent as a captive. That forgotten poet understood her gifts. My sister has a function to perform, even as I do. The endless have their responsibilities. I have responsibilities. I walk by her side, and the darkness lifts from my soul. I walk with her, and I hear the gentle beating of mighty wings. Like, he's fully understanding death is a return to what you were. Like, it's inevitable. Why fear it? And the imagery in these 2 pages is... It's heavy. It's, like, heavy. Like, there's an overdose and a murder and, like... But death comes for everyone. Like, there's no way to escape it. So, it's tricky. Because, like, I as a person don't believe in mourning. Like, I don't think it's what I want. Like, when I die, I want it to be not celebrating my death. I don't want people fucking ding dong, which is dead.
That's what I'm gonna do.
No, but it shouldn't be a sad event. It should be a party. Like, I don't want people to be sad. Like, that's not what I would have done.
You're dancing on your grave.
Oh, hell yeah, you're dancing with my corpse.
I don't know if that'll work.
I'm on strings. I got the whole Disney animatronics team behind me. They're gonna put me into they're gonna put like rods in me and stuff, and I'm gonna do the robot.
We're actually just gonna give you a banjo.
I'm gonna be they're gonna replace the bear in the country bear jamboree with me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a really interesting. I think it's a really interesting observation on death as a whole, and as a thing of life. And I see you wrote death giving some foreshadowing. What was that about?
So one of the young men who was playing soccer, she says, "Oh yeah, I'll see you later," and she just kind of plays it off. And then later in the issue, he gets hit by a car and dies.
Yeah. She does that in the last issue too. She goes, "I'll see you soon." Like, she's very funny, and she knows it. Like, she's a very funny character.
Yeah.
So, issue 9, we're into the second arc. We got the doll's house. So, this issue, it's dealing with stories.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I want to talk about in this issue is the Weaver bird being brown, because it's something they bring up in the story they're telling.
Yeah, because it went too close to the sun, so it went into the sun, so it burned, right?
So my other major was anthropology, so I love seeing the stories behind things, like a story explaining something in the world.
We were both in anthropology, and we don't talk about that enough.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, no, it
was my other major. So, yeah, this issue... No, I don't major. The next issue, though, the doll's house. This is where things get slippery.
the Unity follow-up. So
Yes.
Unity, while she was asleep, was molested, impregnated, and her daughter was put up for adoption. Her
All
daughter
while she was asleep.
Yes. So, as Unity has come back to her senses, as Morpheus has returned to the realm of dreams, she's alert, she's awake, but she still has the mind of a 17-year-old, but she understands what's going on. So she reaches out and meets her long-lost daughter and her granddaughter, Rose. And do we want to say who the grandfather is?
Who is the grandfather?
It's Desire.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's one of the Endless.
Who is an ambiguous, is a non-gendered, ambiguous character who kind of shifts between sexual identities and all of that jazz, and it's kind of a fucking asshole.
Yeah. Also, you pointed this out, the recoloring of Rose.
Yes.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, so was Rose wearing a red sweater when you read it?
No, green. So I had the recolor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a weird... that like changes a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But it changes later on, too. Like, she comes back, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. Weird. It's a weird thing to recolor.
Uh-huh.
But
makes sense, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. It happened.
I mean, sometimes you can't recreate everything, but...
Yeah. But, from there, we get this really cool page of Rose sleeping in the back of the car, and it's like half that, but then the other half is wrapped around with Cain and Abel talking. I think it's just a really beautiful, just a really cool layout. We also get Lucian. Yeah, it's the vortex. So what the vortex is just like an anomaly, right? Like it's an anomaly that's going to destroy everything.
It becomes the center of the dreaming.
Yeah, like a black hole.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It sucks everybody else in, and that's something we see later on. And then Dream is a silly little guy, just wild as poses, very Madonna.
Did you like that note?
Yeah.
He like this whole issue, he's like in the weirdest fucking poses. He's just like...
We also see the Corinthian for the first time.
Yeah, but I want to talk about these poses because he like puts his leg up and he's like holding his hand on his hip. There's another one where he's like crouched on a table like he's L from Death Note. He's just a weird little guy. In the end of the issue, it's him posing in a doorway in his full costume. But before we get to the Corinthian, Lucian is going through the kingdom and just like kind of cataloging everything. So we see him going through all these like weird rooms, and like there's one where a mannequin is dancing with a mannequin. It's very cool. There's one where a wall has eyes. It's cool shit. Like the art is so good in this, and it's so interesting. And then he reports back
the right issue?
Yeah, it's right before he comes in to talk to Dream.
For Lucian?
Yeah, Lucian is walking through the place.
I'm looking for the poses. I don't see these poses.
Yeah, when he walks in, look at him. When Lucian walks into the room, look at Dream.
Oh, right. I didn't recognize it because it's sideways.
Yeah, he's like in all these weird little poses.
Yeah, and then there's Rose meeting Hecate later on.
Yeah, but not even that. Go look at the last page of that issue. Look at his little pose in the doorway. Not the death. Sorry, not the getting killed. The last thing with yeah, he's a little goofy guy, just doing these little.
He's just lurking. He's got his eyes sparkling because they're stars or some nonsense.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
What a gentleman.
Issue 11, moving in. You can read the first thing. I know you want to.
Silver Scarab. This has got Silver Scarab. I mean Sandman. I mean Dr. Fate. I mean Son of Hawkman and Hawkgirl. I mean Son of Hawk and Dove. I mean Dad of the Second Dream. Oh, I mean whatever.
Fucking hate those characters.
Hector
God,
Hall.
I hate anything related to Hawkman. I like Hawkgirl, but fuck, this is so confusing. Just delete them. Just start over. Kill their entire continuity.
Interestingly enough, he was going to make a reappearance in Hawkman and I think it was Hawkman and Hawkwoman for the DC round robin this year. It lost in the first round.
Good.
Or the second round. One of the two. I think it went up against Wildcat.
Good.
No, it went to the second round. Shame.
No, it's not.
And then there's Hector Hall's wife, Lyta, daughter of the Golden Age Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor. She is pregnant.
Yeah, what the fuck? How did they get into this situation? Like, who was like...
So, Hector died.
Oh, yeah, and these little demon guys brought him back.
Those two dickheads, I don't remember their names, sucked him up and then put him in a kid's dream space. That's that kid who is Jed, who is Rose's younger brother, who went to live with their dad after the divorce. And then...
This issue is where the poses are. The one, the doorway I meant, it's in this book. It's the last page.
That's what I thought. The dad died, and then the kid went to live with, I guess, his aunt and uncle, who leave him in the basement.
His grandparents.
Grandparents. They leave him in the basement, and then they collect money from the government to take care of him.
Yeah, it's fucked. It's fucked. It's a lot of stuff in this book is fucked.
And he pretty much lives in his dream world.
Yeah. Getting bit by mice in the real world and shit. Mm-hmm. But I do want to talk about how Rose moves into a house full of great characters who I would read a full book about. So we've got Barbie and Ken, who are just like, they're just too normal. They're just like perfect people. Then we've got Hal, who runs the house.
They're not. They kind of lead into the fact that Hal joins them.
That he what?
They have sex.
Oh, yeah. But I like that they're like, is Miss Dolly stopping by tonight? Because Hal is a drag queen who has a show downtown, and Hal is struggling with his own identity through this story. Then we've got Chantel and Zelda, who Rose referred to as Spider Women. No one knows if they're mother and daughter, sisters, cousins, anything. They're just creepy people who wear veils through the house. It is such a weird cast, but they're actually like super nice to each other and like just kind of live in the house, and it's like a happy family.
It's a nice boarding house setup.
Yeah.
And
then you
then
got Gilbert.
Gilbert is a fucking Chad.
He's so fucking cool. Like, she's about to get attacked coming back from... Nazis are about to attack her. Gilbert shows up in like this long coat and hat and kicks the shit out of them with his cane. He's like this portly fellow with like cool glasses and a mustache. Great dude.
He dresses like it's the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah.
He dresses like he's going out to fight Jack the Ripper.
Oh, yeah, and the whole time these stories are going on, the Corinthian we're getting these little vignettes of the Corinthian cutting people's eyeballs out and taking them.
No, he eats them with his mouth eyes.
Oh, yeah, he does eat them.
Yeah, he goes chomp, 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 chomp.
But, yeah, that's a great issue, but that whole dynamic of all the people comes in later that I really am excited to talk about, because I think it's probably my favorite page, maybe from a comic in a long time. But yeah, the Corinthian doesn't have eyes. He has teeth eyes, and it's fucking terrifying. And then you said the Fiddler's Green. The Fiddler's Green is missing. It's just kind of like this perfect looking world. It's like a meadow. Yeah, it's just pretty.
It's a nice location in that it is supposed to be in the dreaming.
So the next issue, Playing House, is where they come and stop the two little demon guys whose names are Brute and Glob. Yeah,
and then I didn't have any notes for that. I just wrote, Dream sends Hector to hell and tells Light that the baby is his now.
Well, the baby is his because it was made out of Dream.
No, she was pregnant going in.
Oh, she was? I thought it was from him.
It's just that the baby absorbed
the dream energy
this because
that's weird.
It was in there longer than it was supposed to be because she went in 7 months pregnant and she didn't have the baby until
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
I guess years.
You know, dream logic. They do. So Rose and Gilbert check into a hotel, and there's this sign outside that says "Serial Convention," which will come in later. I thought it was just a little funny sign, like hee hee, really funny. But you fucking got me, Neil. Thanks for that. But issue 13. Issue 13 is kind of like its own thing.
Best
Men of Good
issue,
Fortune.
Best issue.
It's the best issue. It's so fucking good.
Issue.
So basically, Death and Dream are in this bar, and there's this man talking about how Death is stupid, that we don't need to do it. There's no reason to do it.
Hold on. Let's also talk about how they're dressed. Because Dream is dressed like a noble, and Death is dressed like a nun.
Yeah. They're like, they've got these really cool outfits on, but it's like, this dude is sitting in the bar just like, no, Death, we don't need Death. There's no reason for it. Like, we can just keep going. Nothing's going to stop us. Like, Death is just a minor nuisance for smaller people. I'm too good for it. And Death is like, all right, you want to handle this one? And Dream's like, yeah, all right. It's just kind of like they're both like, yeah, let's commit to the bit and let this guy live forever. So they do. Basically, Dream and this man meet up in this bar every 100 years to have a drink. As Dream is trying to get something out to Death that the fairies are going to leave this mortal realm to go to another one. And then she's like, shut up. I want to listen to this.
Yeah.
So through the time, there's like, you see them go through, like, people try to, like, people eventually catch on that this man has lived forever and, like, he's going through a bunch of shit. But the visit before the last one that we get to see, they're sitting there, and the man says that he thinks that Dream is doing this because he needs a friend, because he's lonely. And we haven't seen Dream lose his cool in the series until this point. Like, really lose it. And he goes, why? Why would you ever think that? Like,
minor.
Yeah, like, he, like, kind of has a little fit over it. And you're like, what the fuck is, like, why would you, like, freak out like that? He, like, jumps up from the table and is yelling at this man. He's like, you dare imply that I might befriend a mortal? That one of my kind might need companionship? You dare call me lonely? And he storms out. And then the next page, it's modern day, and the man is sitting in the bar smoking a cigarette, and it ends with Dream standing there, and he goes, oh, I didn't think you'd show up, and he goes, I've always heard it's impolite to keep one's friend waiting. And it's a funny bit, like, you're like, oh, he is his friend, but it's also that it's a confirmation that he's lonely. It's like it's a fun, nice ending, but it's a confirmation that, like, he has that mortal feeling that he is lonely.
Yeah, which I think his imprisonment has only shown him so much.
It's a great issue.
I learned some good vocabulary from this. There's swive.
Willie Shakespeare.
Yeah, William Shakespeare. He Willie Shakes.
Sandman takes him aside and wants him to write a play for him.
Yeah, because they were saying, oh, yeah, that guy's nothing. He's got nothing good.
Yeah,
and then,
go ahead.
I want to note that the guy would come back as his son every 20 years to the same places. But it also took him 200 years to get a woman pregnant. Like, he's all those years probably plowing a lot of women.
And then he lost it.
Yeah, and then he lost it the next 100 years, and then he got it back, and then it up and down.
Yeah,
but it seems like after he doesn't pretend like, oh yeah, I'm wiser. I'm still making mistakes.
Yeah, I like that. That it's like, no, I'm constantly learning.
Yeah.
Now we've got issue 14.
Collectors. Well, serial killers.
Yeah, it's a serial killer convention.
They call themselves collectors.
Yeah, it's fucking dark. The collector's page is such beautiful art because it's the American flag of all these fucking killers, and then it just says collectors. Like, it's very dark. Yeah, this issue's a lot. Like,
Corinthian.
Yeah, Corinthian's pretty sick.
He's
like,
got
he's cool.
Jed in the trunk.
Yeah, he's got the kid in his trunk, the brother. But Rose and Gilbert, like he like is like, oh, I got to go figure stuff out, and he hands her this paper and is like, if you ever need help, just say this name, and you'll get help.
Yeah, which comes into play when she's getting choked.
Yeah, somebody's trying to assault her, and Dream shows up and puts him into a dream.
With all his victims.
Yeah, with all his victims. So the thing about this issue, I don't want to get too far into it's dark, but
Yeah.
Dream removes this dream that all of these people have, that they're not monsters. Like at the end,
He shows them reality.
yeah, it's interesting. Let me read. It was a dirty and sharp, and it cut like a razor. And if it touched you, you could wash and wash until your skin was tattered in blood, but you'd never feel clean again. It scattered them into the night, the quiet ones with death in their eyes, but they left more tentatively than they had come, as if they had seen something unholy inside themselves, something they would never be able to forget. And they left slowly, one by one, with reluctance, leaving the safety of the light for the chill certainties of the darkness. It seemed like the night sucked them up, took them into its dark heart, and it seemed like the darkness swallowed them. Perhaps it did. He made them realize that they're fucking monsters.
Yeah. He was like, yeah, you're not getting away with what you think you're getting away with. You're not going to glorify the fact that you view yourself as a hunter, as a monster. And also, he kills the Corinthian.
Yeah. He turns him... No, he doesn't kill him. He turns him a little skull, and he's going to remake him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean... And then when he remakes him, the second Corinthian is not a serial killer.
Better the second time around.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we got this issue 16, which is Lost Hearts. This is the one where Dream is basically like, no, Rose, you gotta die. Like, you're the Vortex, you've gotta die. And then we find out the truth about Gilbert.
Wait, I thought we just went to...
We skipped the issue I wanted to talk about most.
Yeah.
Issue 15, Into the Night. So
Vortex in the boarding house.
So she basically connects to all their dreams, and we get to see into the dreams of all of these people, and Gills is the least bombastic, but it's so Hal dreams of Betty, Judy, and Marilyn. They've come to tell him the big secret. He's always suspected there was a big secret, and then he wakes up, and there's this really interesting one with Judy Garland where she's like, of course this isn't my real face, and she rips off her face. And then it's the Wicked Witch. And then she rips that one off too. And there's a third face. And it says, I'm running out of hands. Hal is gay, but I don't think he's accepted that for himself, especially in this time period. And he hasn't figured out who he is. And it's him holding this Dolly character that he's created and himself and what's left. And it's such an interesting... That's a really sad nightmare. But after that, we get this... cross-sectional of the house. And I honestly don't think there's a page that I like more than this because, where
it's everyone's dreams spiraling into Rose.
So it says, she can feel them. Chantel dreaming intricate self-referential loops, trying to reveal nothing of herself to herself. Zelda, still fighting old battles, the little girl lost in the woman whose heart she shares. Ken's churning world of money and sex and power. Barbara's rich dream life, more valid and true than anything she feels when waking. Hal's endless quest for identity and love. All of them seeking a place to belong. All of them seeking a place to feel safe. And she sees how simple it all is. Sees how thin and fragile the walls that divide them truly are. Sees how simple it would be to shatter them. She reaches out her mind and nudges and the walls fall. It's she's seeing how all of these people are dealing with so much, and maybe if they just let their walls down and talk to one another, that they could actually help one another. But what she does is destroys it. She can't help it. The vortex pretty much just combines all their dreams and just hurts people. That page is all of them seeking a place to belong, all of them seeking a place to be safe. Because I think that's what everyone's doing at the end of the day. And it's sad because there's so many stories that you can see, and you're wow, you never really know what everyone's going through. So I really love this book. But then it ends with Dream taking her. and she needs to die. What were your feelings on issue 16?
So 16 was a great issue. It's just, hold on, I gotta pull up my notes. Gilbert Was a Place is going to be the next issue. Shit.
No, that's it. The Gilbert, like we're on issue 16. So Gilbert is in a person.
Yeah, he is a place. He is the Fiddler's Green. That's why he wears all green. And he felt bad about leaving, so him and Matthew go to try and see if they can appease Dream. And
Matthew. Matthew's a raven that hangs out with Dream, who's funny and played by Patton Oswalt in the show.
Yeah, that's... Whew.
Who was a bad man in life.
It's actually Patton Oswalt's character from AP Buyout. The principal.
But so basically Rose is going to die, but then it turns out that Unity was supposed to be the vortex, and Rose gives her her heart. She gives her the vortex, and she dies instead.
Like a crystalline heart, which...
that we see in issue 10.
Which I think is shown as the symbol of desire later on.
Yeah.
Which is why, towards the end of the issue, Rose, after a couple of months, and is currently living with her mother and Jed, she cuts off her hair and leaves it her natural red color, and then goes out into the world. And then that's the end of her story for now. And then Dream goes and threatens Desire, because Desire has overstepped and has tried to tamper with his world and attacked Unity while she was unconscious, and created a weird I don't want to say semi-endless line of it's endless human hybrids, but like Desire now has a weird family thing, and Dream's having nothing of it, and he says to them that, do you think you can beat me? Death, and I think it was the other one, was it Despair?
Yeah.
Like, we haven't seen Despair yet in the first 20 issues that we read, so probably a tough one. And then Desire kind of goes on this thing of like, what? Because Dream says to them that we are there to serve the human, we are there to serve the mortals, and then Desire's like, what does he mean we're supposed to be the ones serving them? I have all of this power that I can control. And then Desire kind of doesn't learn anything from that.
Yeah.
Just kind of goes, no, my brother's wrong, I'm right. I just won't fuck with him for a while.
Dream is like, do it again, I'll fucking kill you.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Then we get into our last arc called Dream Country, issue 17. I don't really want to talk about, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of sexual assault, and I don't really want to talk about it, so we're going to skip it. Yep. Issue 18, A Dream of a Thousand Cats.
Dream is a cat. Dream is a cat. Love cats. Not that cats, though. Not the cats that like people can see in the movies with Taylor Swift. Not that cats. I haven't seen that cats.
Yeah, but like this cat, like it's about a cat who like had relations with the Dream Lord, but like then those kittens got killed by her owners, and like she didn't get a choice. And like we learned that there was a world of cats before, but it was taken by the humans who out-dreamed them.
Completely rewrote it as if the cat realm did not exist ever.
Yeah, fucking wild.
And,
so yeah, and that cat has basically been traveling the world since.
Cats have like union meetings.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, cats love cats, and there's little cute kittens in it. It's a great issue. It's an interesting thing about how dreams are more powerful together. That if you spread your dream and other people believe in your dream, there's more strength in it because you find unity. But it's also kittens, so it's cute.
Like how if you are afraid of chainsaws, Chainsaw Man gets stronger.
Yeah. So issue 19, A Midsummer's Night's Dream. Turns out the thing that Dream was getting Shakespeare to write was a play about the fairy people who were about to leave our mortal realm. Jay, can you read what you wrote?
Shakespeare's back from issue 13. Wild how he was retconned into the real world.
Both of us believe that Shakespeare is actually a DC Comics character.
Yes. Well, there's
and that
plenty
he was-
of people who actually believe that Shakespeare wasn't a real person. It was just a name that somebody used.
That'd be pretty sick.
Yeah, like there's so many theories about it. Yeah, no, this is the best one though.
Yeah.
But this
I do
is
want to talk
facts.
about. I do want to talk about issue 20 more than this though. So issue 20 deals with
Facade.
So I had only known Element Woman from Flashpoint, right? That's where I saw her, where she first showed up again.
I don't know. I don't remember her in Flashpoint.
So I thought she was fun. I was like, oh, I like her. And then I was like, oh, I saw her in this issue. And I was like, oh, this show. Oh, no. All of my good feelings turned to bad feelings. So what we're following is Element Woman, Urena Blackwell. And she went through the same thing that Rex... Was it Rex Tyler? Is that his name?
Yeah, I think so. No.
So-
No, that's our man.
Oh, yeah. What's his
Rex
name?
Mason.
Rex Mason. She goes through the same thing, but she doesn't get what he gets.
So I never realized they were magic based.
Yeah, it's Ra, isn't it?
Yep, some guy raw. Oh, well, sort of. There's another character who's a metamorphi. But yeah, I always kind of thought about the Justice League version of it, where it's like I think Simon Stagg.
Yeah, no, it's
didn't
originally.
realize it.
I think it's Simon Stagg now.
Yeah.
But yeah, she isn't allowed to leave her. Like, she can leave her home, but she doesn't want to because she's dealing with, like, as you wrote, body dysmorphic disorder, and like she's like really not doing well, and it's an issue of her like trying to feel comfortable in the world, and she keeps making these masks over her face.
Yeah, because she has to make them plastic to make them work. Because if she tries to make flesh, it rots.
Yeah, it's sad because she goes to dinner and her face falls off, and like she got the courage to actually leave the house for once to see someone that she knew, and like it was all torn away from her, and it's dealing with this like, who is the real you?
Yeah, I think it was her VA contact for like VA Social Security and stuff like that. Like, he moved apartments just shortly after she called him, and then like it's hard not to feel bad for her. Like, she's just clawing her way to try to find someone to talk to and to feel like a person.
Yeah. And then Death shows up to talk to her. And it isn't because she was ready to die. It was because she heard her crying and the door was open.
Yeah,
and Death,
she was there to visit somebody upstairs.
Yeah, and Death is talking about how, like, I'm not blessed or merciful. I'm just here to do it. I've got a job to do and I do it. She's everywhere all at once dealing with all these different deaths, and she doesn't get a choice. That's what she's dealing with. That's her job. Like, just like, it's heavy, and Element Woman's like, I want to die, but I can't kill myself, because if I shoot myself, it'll turn into gas. It'll, like, she's in a situation where she can't. She's like, well, then talk to your god. Like, she's like, talk to Ra, and she looks at the sun, and she's like, she realizes something. The sun is just a mask for Ra, and she turns to, like, glass and withers away.
I thought it was salt, but yeah.
Yeah, oh, it could be salt. You're probably right. She says, sorry I couldn't help any. Be seeing you at the end. Like, it's just like she's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really sad ending.
Heavy.
Yeah,
Heavy
the
way
whole
to
thing's
end
heavy.
Yeah.
But
Especially-
that is book 1 of the Sandman. Thanks for being sad with us about it. Great. It was great. I honestly fucking loved this book.
Yeah, it was great. Great.
Yeah. All right. Well, you can find us at GateCrashers Pod.
And in your
At-
dreams.
Shit. You can find us at gatecrashers.fan. Find us on GateCrashers Pod on all social media. You can find my review of the Sandman television show on August 5th. And so much more at our site. Hope you had
Or
a
in
good
your
time.
nightmares.
See you in your dreams.
Bye.
It's the Gate Crashers.